So the house of Tom Ford has two new releases coming out, Oud Minerale and Noire Anthracite. This video is mostly about Noire Anthracite. I'm going to go ahead and do my first impressions and a brief review of this fragrance. Plus we're going to touch upon Oud Minerale as well. We're going to do that coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, there's a subscribe button at the bottom. Please click subscribe so you'll stay up to date with future videos and giveaways. And that's right, we're going to go ahead and talk about this new Tom Ford Noir Anthracite fragrance that's coming out very, very soon. Oud Minerale has already been launched. People are already talking about it. It's been out. And I had the opportunity to smell both of these recently. One of my sales associates told me about these, and I went there, and actually they were kind enough to give me two mini small decants of this Noire Anthracite. And so even though these are coming in little bottles that you can't spray, I ended up putting it in a bottle here so I can spray them. But first off, my impressions of Oud Minerale are negative. I'm not really into that kind of scent anyway. It's got seaweed and kind of aquatic touches to it, and that's not my kind of fragrance, so I immediately didn't like it. I mean, it was just not for me. I'm sure there are fans of it out there, or I'm sure they're going to actually appeal to some folks that like that kind of fragrance. And the other thing was I didn't smell any traces of oud in there, so I don't know what I was thinking about it, and so it just wasn't for me. But I did smell Noire Anthracite, and I did like what I smelled in the store. But that's actually after I've smelled so many other things, so you know, you react to things differently when your nose is kind of clean compared to when your nose has been like used up with different smells that you've been smelling. So it's in here, Noire Anthracite, and this is a 2017 launch. The 100 ml bottle will retail for $171. There is no nose credited to this fragrance. I wasn't able to find that information. And Noire Anthracite is a flanker to the original Noire that came out several years ago. I think going back to 2013 or 2012. And then we had in 2015 Noire Extreme came out, and then there's also a femme version of that, Noire Femme. But Noire Anthracite is nothing like any of the fragrances that came before this. This is a complete new fragrance on its own. It doesn't have hints of any of the previous releases, so it's kind of like an original fragrance, even though they're calling it a flanker to Noire. So for notes in Noire Anthracite, you've got bergamot, spices, cedar wood, macassar wood, and Ceylonese sandalwood. So it's definitely a woody fragrance. And a little information about anthracite. I wanted to make sure I pronounce it correctly, and it is pronounced anthracite. And anthracite is a coal of a hard variety that contains relatively pure carbon and burns with little flame and smoke. So this is what it's called. It's dark, it's coal-like. So I kind of think that even the Oud Minerale and this now Noire Anthracite are kind of like in the same kind of ballpark of releases, minerally, kind of earthy releases. Is that the trend that's coming up soon with fragrances, earthy things? We'll see. But let's go ahead and smell this. I'm going to go ahead and spray it on my hand here and my wrist, and I'm going to give you my impressions of what this smells like. Because, as I said, I did like it, and when I smelled it in the store, it had very classic touches. And when I looked it up on the Fragrantica, it said it's a Cypress. So, is it really? We'll see. So, here goes. 3 sprays of this. Now, I did get the classic touches. It definitely has a Cypress-like smell to it, and I like that about it, and I enjoy that kind of style of fragrance. It reminds me of some of the famous, you know, Cypress type of fragrances for men in the 80s. It also kind of reminds me of like, there's a fragrance by Halston. It's still being made, which kind of, now I'm drawing a blank with which Halston that was. And it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I'll put the name down in the video so that you know. But Tom Ford Private Blend Collection also had a fragrance called Italian Cypress, which was kind of like the luxury version of that Halston. Even though when Halston had first come out, my uncle and my dad both wore that fragrance, and I used to steal sprays from their bottles, and it smelled wonderful. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Not sure why, but it's definitely citrusy, spicy, and woody, all combined, but the fragrance smelled a lot stronger in the store compared to here. So I'm not sure why that would be. It seems a little more calmer, a little more fainter on me here now compared to what I was smelling in the store. But I quite like this scent. It's very, very classic, as I said, and sort of like classically inspired. But my fear is this fragrance will probably not appeal to the folks that really were into the Noire series of fragrances. Even though I thought Noire Extreme was a departure from the previous releases as well, this is actually a complete departure. This is kind of like going back in time and going to classics and kind of coming up with something inspired by the classics for men. It really, really does remind me of that fragrance by Halston for some reason. I think it's Halston Z-14. I'll put the name down, as I said. When I was first getting into this whole passion with fragrances and perfumes and was starting up and doing reviews, I remember Italian Cypress was being sold by the Private Blend collection from Tom Ford. And I really, really liked that fragrance. And it really did remind me of the classic Halston. But of course, I never bought any. I do have a little mini decant of it still, which is really awesome. But if you're looking to replace that Italian Cypress, you can definitely find it in the Z-14 from Halston, but it doesn't smell as good as it used to, the Halston. But now you have this, and it's quite spicy, and it's also very, very dry. So it's earthy, spicy, and woody, like really, really intense woodiness, and just, you know, nicely smoothed over from the bergamot that's in here, because it's a big dose of citruses in here I'm picking up. So, and I mean, it's nice. It's not groundbreaking or anything. It doesn't have this like depth to it. It seems kind of lighter. It seems a little more thinner compared to fragrances that are from that era. And I don't even know if they were trying to go with fragrances from that era. I'm just saying that's what it's kind of reminding me of, fragrances from the early 80s that I was used to sneaking sprays of from my dad and my uncle when they wore, you know, fragrances like that. So, I mean, it's a good release. It's not anything original. It's probably not going to do as well as Noire Extreme did or is doing, because I think this is sort of like not going to appeal to the masses. I think it's going to be a little tired or old smelling, personally. It's my opinion, but that's what I'm thinking will happen with this release, because it does have this like kind of like tired smell. There's also something like metallic underlying here, and I'm assuming it's because of that, like trying to create that coal-like note from the anthracite, if that's what they were going for. But it's okay. Cumin is kind of also there a little bit, slight bit cuminy, caraway seed-like, but it's more spicy rather than cuminy, but it's like traces of it are there. I'm picking up a little bit. But from the two releases, Oud Minerale from Tom Ford Private Blend collection, and with Noir Anthracite from the regular Tom Ford collection, I do prefer this one because it's definitely better than Oud Minerale. I just couldn't tolerate how weird it smelled, Oud Minerale. But again, this one, it could have been a little better, you know? It could have been a little more, it could have had a little more depth. It's just kind of like a thin release. So that part is a bummer, but those of you that are into classic-like fragrances, this will definitely appeal to you. This will probably be something that you'd pick up. But at $171 for 100 ml, the prices keep going up for these Tom Ford original collection fragrances. So pretty soon we're going to see 100 ml going for 200, because I remember these used to be around 140. Now it's gone up to $30, almost to 171. So they're going up there, and the quality is also not going up there with it. So I hope that they can come up with something more unique and do us a favor where we go gaga over the releases rather than be like, okay, it's not bad kind of thing. I also think that this should not have been called Tom Ford Noir Anthracite. I think it should have been a complete brand new release because, as I was saying earlier, it doesn't remind me of any of the Noire releases from this line. So why would they, call it Noir Anthracite? But I think because they probably think, okay, our Noire series is pretty successful. Let's come up with something and we'll call it Noir Anthracite, and it'll, people will be like, wow, okay, a flanker for the Noire, so it must be good. So let's go ahead and buy it and, wear it. So I think that's probably what happened here, but this could have been sold all on its own as a complete new fragrance because it doesn't rely on the previous version that came before it. So, when you have the fragrances in the Mugler Pure series, you get the Pure Malt, Pure Havana, they all kind of like, have the base of the Mugler patchouli, vanilla kind of thing. Whereas here, I don't pick up any notes from the previous edition or any of the previous editions. So I kind of think it was a little bit of a cop-out for them to call it Noir Anthracite because they could have come up with something new, like just call it Anthracite or something a little more unique rather than sticking it in the flankers of the Noire series. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Noir Anthracite and or Oud Minerale. Both should be launched any day now. But guys, what are your thoughts? Have you tried Oud Minerale? Have you tried Noir Anthracite? What are your thoughts? Are you curious to try them? Are you excited to try them? Are you already using them and wearing them? Let me know your thoughts. Please put your comments down below. And also, what do you think about this Noir Anthracite? Do you like the idea of the fragrance being called Noir Anthracite versus just Anthracite, and the fact that it doesn't share any of the notes from the previous editions? Let me know your thoughts. Put down below so we can get a conversation started. Also, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.